Catasanctra Eminent User Data Outputs Alien Princess Part 1. MD-TEOF Lyra stood on the observation deck of her ship gazing at the blue planet below. Her long silver hair floated around her in the low gravity, and her purple eyes reflected the stars. She was High Princess of the Zinthari, a species that valued logic and control above all else. Emotions were considered primitive and unnecessary for advanced beings. But Lyra had always felt different, always wondered about the feelings her people worked so hard to suppress. The royal vessel orbited Earth, silently monitoring the strange inhabitants below. Humans fascinated Lyra. They lived such brief, passionate lives filled with art, music, and love concepts almost forgotten among her people. As she watched the planet turn, Lyra made her decision. She would visit this world, not just observe it. She needed to understand what made humans so different. Commander Vera entered the deck, her face expressionless as always. High Princess, the diplomatic team awaits your instruction. We have studied their languages and customs as ordered. The observation phase is complete. Lyra nodded, still looking at Earth. Prepare the landing vessel. Commander, we make contact tomorrow. Vera hesitated, an unusual action for a Zinthari. The elders recommend further observation. High Princess humans are unpredictable, dangerous. They are guided by emotions, not logic. That is precisely why we must understand them, Lyra said. Her voice remained calm, but something stirred inside her, something she could not name. Excitement, perhaps, or hope. On Earth, Captain Stella Adams received the alert with surprise. Alien contact confirmed. The words on her screen seemed impossible, yet the evidence was clear. An extraterrestrial vessel had entered orbit and transmitted a request for diplomatic meeting. Stella had been chosen as primary contact due to her background in xenolinguistics and tactical training. She felt her heart race as she prepared for humanity's first official alien encounter. The landing site was a secluded military base in the desert. Security teams, planetary officials, and scientists gathered nervously watching the sky. When the Zinthari vessel finally appeared, it descended with impossible grace, a sleek, purple craft that seemed to bend light around it. As it touched down, Stella straightened her uniform and stepped forward. The ship opened, revealing tall, humanoid figures with silvery skin and delicate features. They wore armor that seemed to flow, like liquid metal, emphasizing their 7-foot height. The tallest stepped forward, removing her helmet to reveal a face almost human. Despite its alien beauty, "I am Lyra, High Princess of the Zinthari Empire," the alien said in perfect English. "We come to establish diplomatic relations with your world." Stella bowed slightly, following protocol. "Captain Stella Adams, Earth Diplomatic Corps. Welcome to our planet, High Princess." Their eyes met across the space between their worlds. Lyra felt something strange, a flutter in her chest, a warmth she had never experienced. The human female was much shorter than her, but stood with confidence. Her hair was the color of Earth sunlight, and her eyes reminded Lyra of the oceans she had observed from orbit. The first meetings were formal exchanges of information and cultural protocols. Lyra presented the official position of her empire. They were peaceful explorers seeking knowledge and possible alliance. But she knew the elders had other motives. The Zinthari needed resources, and Earth had them in abundance. The humans would be evaluated for threat, for weakness, for value. Each night, Lyra returned to her ship while the diplomatic team analyzed the day's information. Commander Vera reported directly to the elders, bypassing Lyra entirely. The princess knew this but did not intervene. She was developing her own mission, one she kept secret, even from herself. "Captain Adams has requested a cultural exchange," Lyra announced on the 5th day. "I will accompany her to experience human art, music, and social structures." Vera objected immediately. "Such exposure is unnecessary, High Princess. The cultural data has been collected through observation. I must advise against direct participation." But Lyra was already decided she would see this world properly, not through sensors and reports. The following morning, she met Stella wearing adapted clothing closer to human style. though her height and silver skin made blending impossible. "Thank you for this opportunity," Captain Adams Lyra said as they walked toward a waiting vehicle. "I wish to understand your people beyond official meetings. Call me Stella. Please." The captain smiled, a gesture Lyra had studied but never fully understood. The facial movement created changes in the human's appearance, making her more aesthetically pleasing. Stella led her to a sleek ground vehicle. "Nothing official today, Your Highness. Just real human life." Their first stop was an art museum. Lyra moved slowly through the galleries, studying the paintings and sculptures with intense focus. The emotional content puzzled her. Humans created images that served no practical purpose, yet they valued them highly. "This one moves you," Lyra observed, watching Stella gaze at a landscape painting. Stella nodded. "It reminds me of my childhood home. The light through the trees, the sense of peace I can almost feel." The breeze. Lyra stared harder at the canvas, trying to understand how pigment on fabric could create such a response in a being. She saw the technical skill but could not feel what Stella described. From the museum, they visited a music performance. A small group played stringed instruments in a park, while humans sat listening, some with eyes closed, others swaying slightly. Lyra watched in fascination as the sounds affected the crowd. The concept of music existed among the Zinthari, but as mathematical patterns, not emotional expression. The vibrations, Lyra whispered, they create physical sensation, but also something else I cannot quantify. Emotion, Stella explained simply. These musicians translate feeling into sound and we feel it in return. It's connection. The word echoed in Lyra's mind. Connection was what the Zinthari lacked. Their perfect logical society had eliminated the very thing humans valued most. As evening approached, they walked along a river watching the sunset color the water. Human couples passed by, some holding hands, others embracing. Lyra observed these interactions with growing curiosity. Species touches frequently, she noted. Stella laughed softly. "We need physical connection. It's essential to our well-being. Don't the Zinthari touch?" "Rarely," Lyra admitted. "Only when necessary for reproduction or medical purposes." "That sounds lonely," Stella said. "Lonely." Lyra repeated the unfamiliar concept. The word had no direct translation in her language. As darkness fell, lights appeared along the walkway. Their soft glow created shadows across Stella's features. Lyra found herself studying the human woman with increasing interest. The proportions of her face, the way light reflected in her eyes, the small movements that conveyed meaning without words. Back on the ship that night, Lyra could not enter the usual meditation state required for Zinthari rest. Her mind filled with images from the day, colors, sounds, the expression on Stella's face when she listened to music. Commander Vera found her standing at the observation window staring at the planet below. "You appear disturbed." "Hi, Princess Vera." Noted. "Is the diplomatic mission proceeding incorrectly?" "No," Lyra answered. "The mission continues as planned," but she knew something had changed inside her. The carefully maintained balance of her Zinthari nature had shifted. Something new had awakened. Something dangerous. "The elders have requested your preliminary assessment," Vera said. "The human defenses, their technology, their resources, they are more complex than our reports indicated." Lyra replied, choosing her words carefully. "They have strengths we did not anticipate." Vera studied her with cold eyes. "The humans affect you?" "High Princess, I observe signs of emotional contamination." Lyra turned her gaze from Earth to her second-in-command. The accusation was serious. Among the Zinthari, emotional contamination was considered a form of illness, a failure of proper control. "I study them as ordered." "Nothing more, Commander." "You forget your place." But that night, as the ship orbited the sleeping planet, Lyra admitted the truth to herself. She was changing. Earth was changing her, and Captain Stella Adams, with her sunlight hair and ocean eyes, was somehow the catalyst of. Cat. MT. User. Data. Outputs. Alien Princess Karn Part 2. MD. EOF. The second week of diplomatic meetings brought increasing tension. Both human officials and Zinthari representatives sensed the underlying motives neither side fully disclosed Earth. Leaders questioned the aliens' interest in their mineral resources, while the Zinthari delegation reported on human military capabilities. Neither Lyra nor the Earth Council fully trusted the formal exchanges. Lyra continued her cultural research, with Stella visiting different regions experiencing various human environments. The princess requested to see oceans, mountains, forests, and cities. Each location revealed new aspects of humanity: their adaptability, their connection to their world, their emotional responses to beauty. They stood on a cliff overlooking a vast ocean, waves crashing below. Lyra had never seen such water on her homeworld, a desert planet with carefully managed resources. The wild, untamed nature of Earth both frightened and fascinated her. "It's so alive," she whispered. "Everything here is alive." Stella watched the alien princess. Her silver skin caught the sunlight, making her seem to glow. The normally composed Zinthari appeared different today, more open, more present. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Stella said. "It's my favorite place. When things get complicated, I come here to remember what matters." "What matters?" Lyra echoed the question, genuine in her voice. "What matters to humans?" Stella considered the question. Life, connection, love, freedom. The things worth fighting for. Fighting. Lyra turned to study her companion. "Your species values conflict." "Not conflict," Stella corrected. "Protecting what we love. Sometimes that requires fighting." The concept troubled Lyra. The Zinthari avoided conflict through strict hierarchy and control. The Empire expanded through calculation and overwhelming technological superiority, not emotional attachment to places or principles. That night, Commander Vera confronted Lyra again. "Your behavior concerns, my High Princess. You spend excessive time with the human Stella Adams. Your reports lack proper analytical structure. The elders question your objectivity." Lyra felt a flash of something hot and unfamiliar. "Anger, perhaps you overstep." "Commander, the diplomatic approach is mine to determine." "It is my duty to ensure you remain uncontaminated," Vera replied. "Your genetic line is too valuable to risk exposure to human emotionalism." "I remain Zinthari," Lyra said coldly. But she felt the lie in her words. Something was changing within her. Each day with Stella, each new experience on Earth awakened feelings, long suppressed by her species' evolution and culture. The next morning brought news that would change everything. Earth intelligence had detected a large Zinthari fleet approaching, hidden beyond their detection systems. Until now, the diplomatic mission had been cover for invasion preparation. Security forces surrounded the alien compound. While emergency meetings convened, Stella came to Lyra directly, her face tight with controlled anger. "Did you know?" she demanded. "The invasion fleet. Were your diplomatic overtures just distraction while your military positioned itself?" Lyra felt shock, genuine and complete. "I knew nothing of this," she said. Truthfully, Stella wanted to believe her. The days spent together had created something between them, something neither had named, but duty came first. "You are confined to this compound until further notice," Captain Adams said formally, all warmth gone. From her voice alone in her quarters, Lyra accessed the ship computers, discovering the truth. The elders had always planned invasion. The diplomatic mission evaluated Earth's defenses while the fleet assembled. The Zinthari needed Earth not as allies, but as a resource colony. Humans would be controlled or eliminated, their emotional nature considered too dangerous to the ordered Zinthari existence. Lyra felt something break inside her. The careful balance of logic and suppressed feeling shattered. She had seen Earth, experienced its beauty, witnessed the passion and connection of its people. She had felt the stirring of her own emotions, long denied by Zinthari conditioning. She could not allow her people to destroy what she had discovered. That night she escaped the compound using her royal access codes to bypass security. Her destination was clear. She had to find Stella, had to warn her, had to explain. The future of two worlds depended on it. Stella worked late in the Crisis Command Center when alarms sounded, An unauthorized alien presence had breached the perimeter security teams mobilized. But by the time they reached her office, Lyra stood before her. "They mean to invade," Lyra said without preamble. "The diplomatic mission was false. I did not know until today. The fleet comes within 2 rotations of your planet." "Why tell me?" Stella demanded. "Why should I believe you?" Lyra stepped closer, her purple eyes intense. "Because in my time on Earth I have learned what it means to care." She said simply, "Emotions are not weakness as my people believe. They give purpose meaning. I cannot allow the destruction of this world or its people. I cannot allow harm to come to you." The sincerity in her voice made Stella pause. Security forces surrounded them, weapons trained on the princess. "Stand down." Stella ordered the guards finally. "Let her speak. Let her help us." The information Lyra provided proved crucial. Earth defense systems prepared for the coming Zinthari fleet. The princess revealed weaknesses in alien technology, points of vulnerability, their tactical approaches. But most importantly, she exposed the truth about why the Zinthari feared humans. "They fear your emotions." Lyra explained to the assembled Earth leaders, "Your unpredictability, your passion. My people believe emotions make you dangerous, yet they also fear contamination. Contact with humans awakens feelings the Zinthari have suppressed for generations. The elders fear their control slipping." As the fleet approached, Commander Vera demanded Earth's surrender and Lyra's return as traitor. The princess faced her former second-in-command across the communication screen. "You betray your species," Vera said, her voice flat, yet somehow conveying disgust. "You choose these emotional primitives over your own kind." "I choose life," Lyra replied, "and freedom and feeling. The Zinthari way is empty." "Vera, we lost something precious when we abandoned emotions. We lost purpose. You are contaminated beyond recovery." The commander cut the communication. Stella developed a desperate plan using Lyra's knowledge of Zinthari technology. Earth would not surrender, but neither could they win a direct confrontation. The alien fleet outmatched their weapons, but perhaps they could demonstrate why humanity should be left in peace. "I will address my people." Lyra decided, "I am still their princess. My voice carries authority. If enough listen, perhaps conflict can be avoided." The risk was enormous. The Zinthari considered emotional contamination worse than physical disease. Those who displayed feelings were typically isolated or terminated. Lyra would be revealing her contamination to her entire species. "You don't have to do this," Stella said, touching the princess' arm. The simple contact sent warmth through both of them. "I must," she replied, "for both our worlds." The broadcast reached every Zinthari ship. Lyra stood tall, her silver hair unbound, her eyes bright with emotion she no longer tried to hide. She spoke of Earth, of beauty, of music, of art. She described feelings not as weakness but as strength that gave purpose and meaning. She challenged the Zinthari to remember their own history before emotional suppression became their way. Most importantly, she confessed her own awakening. She described how meeting Stella, experiencing human culture, had changed her, awakened her to possibilities long forgotten by her species. She spoke of connection, of care, of the stirring of love. Her words created chaos among the Zinthari fleet. Some ships remained loyal to the elders, others, particularly younger crew members, began questioning centuries of teaching. Long-suppressed feelings emerged, causing confusion and dissent. The carefully ordered hierarchy faltered. In this moment of chaos, Earth defense forces launched their counterattack, targeting key command ships not to destroy but to disable them. The coordinated strike succeeded, cutting communication between loyal factions, preventing organized assault. Commander Vera managed one final transmission directly to Lyra. "Your weakness dooms us all," she said. "The Empire will return in greater force. This world will fall, and you will witness it before your execution." Perhaps Lyra acknowledged, "But perhaps my words have planted seeds. The Zinthari may remember what they lost. Perhaps change has already begun, as disabled Xinthari ships retreated, a new reality emerged. Some remained orbiting Earth. Their crews requested asylum, curious about the emotions beginning to stir within them. Earth cautiously welcomed these defectors while maintaining defensive posture against future threats. That evening, Lyra stood with Stella watching the stars where the fleet had disappeared. "Do you think they will return?" she asked. Eventually, Stella said honestly, "But we'll be ready, and we're not alone anymore." She took the princess' hand, their fingers intertwining. "You chose us. You chose feeling." Lyra looked at their joined hands. The simple touch created sensations she was only beginning to understand. "I am only beginning to learn what it means to feel," she said. "The Xinthari way taught control but never purpose. Your world has shown me why existence matters." Stella moved closer. "What matters to you now?" Princess Lyra considered this moment. She answered simply, "This connection, this feeling I cannot yet name. It's called hope," Stella said. "And maybe something more. EOF. Cat, MNT, user data, outputs, alien, Princess Part 3. MD, EOF. 6 months passed since the Xinthari fleet retreated. Earth remained vigilant, preparing defenses, strengthening alliances with the remaining aliens who had chosen to stay. The defectors formed a small colony sharing technology. While learning human ways, Lyra served as leader of these Xinthari rebels and primary diplomat between the species. Her position was unique, neither fully aligned with her original people, nor fully human. She existed between worlds. Earth governments remained divided on how to proceed. Some nations welcomed the alien technology and alliance. Others feared deception. Trust came slowly through practical cooperation, building planetary defense systems. Against the promised Xinthari return created necessary collaboration. Lyra worked tirelessly to bridge understanding between humans and her people. The remaining Xinthari struggled with emerging emotions. Some embraced the change, finding joy in music, art, and connection. Others suffered confusion and distress as centuries of conditioning broke down. Lyra understood their pain. She too walked a difficult path between logic and feeling. Stella continued as primary liaison between Earth military and the alien allies. Their professional relationship provided cover for something deeper, developing between them, something neither fully acknowledged. Time spent in planning sessions, diplomatic meetings, and technology exchanges allowed them to work closely. Occasional touches, exchanged glances, private conversations in the margins of official business, all built connection without definition. "The princess has requested your presence at the colony," Captain Adams, Stella's commander, informed her. "One morning, apparently their sensors detect unusual activity at the edge of our system. Could be the Xinthari returning." Stella found Lyra in the observation center of the colony, a dome structure built on a mountain peak. The princess stood tall, and elegant silver hair braided down her back, purple eyes fixed on displays showing deep space readings. "You found something?" Stella said, moving to stand beside her. Lyra nodded. "Communication signals. Encrypted but definitely Xinthari origin. Not the fleet, but a single vessel, much smaller. Unusual movement pattern. A scout." Stella suggested. Perhaps Lyra turned to face her, but the approach vector is wrong. They avoid detection systems almost deliberately. The message pattern suggests a royal vessel. Lyra's second-in-command finished entering the room, and Matria, she added a term that translated roughly as Queen Mother. Lyra's expression changed, subtle shifts that Stella had learned to read. Shock, concern. Something like fear. "My mother," Lyra explained. "The matriarch of my genetic line. She holds position in the Elder Council. Her vessel approaches alone. What does it mean?" Stella asked. "I do not know." Lyra admitted. But she would not come without purpose. She would not come unless the princess did not. Finished that evening, Earth defense leaders met with Lyra and her advisors to plan response to the approaching vessel. The decision came to allow landing under heavy security. The matriarch requested meeting at the colony, not at human facilities. Lyra would greet her mother alone. You can't trust this, Stella argued when they were finally alone. It's too convenient. A single royal ship. Their attempt at invasion fails, and suddenly your mother wants a friendly chat. Lyra moved to the window looking out. At Earth light spread across the darkness below. My mother is not like other elders, she said quietly. She always showed me small kindnesses when others were not watching. Private moments of connection forbidden by our ways. I must hear her message, Stella. Stepped closer, I don't want you facing this alone, I must. Lyra turned, meeting Stella's eyes, but knowing you wait for my return gives me strength. The human reached out, touching Lyra's face gently. The silver skin felt warm, alive under her fingertips. They had rarely allowed themselves such intimate contact, both aware of the complications it created, both bound by duty to their respective peoples. Come back to me, Stella whispered. The royal vessel arrived exactly as predicted, a sleek craft larger than a shuttle, smaller than a warship. It landed at the designated area within the colony perimeter. Lyra waited alone, dressed in traditional Zinthari royal attire for the first time since choosing Earth. The familiar weight of ceremonial armor felt strange now, a reminder of the rigid control it represented. The ship opened, revealing a tall, elegant figure. The matriarch stepped onto Earth soil, her movements precise, graceful. She wore the purple and silver of the highest elder caste. Her face showed no expression as protocol demanded, but her eyes, Lyra noticed immediately, studied everything with intense focus. High Princess Matriarch Vin greeted formally using the traditional gestures of respect. You remain in health, despite your exile. Mother Lyra returned the greeting. I am well, Earth sustains me. They walked together through the colony gardens designed to blend Zinthari and Earth plants, creating harmony between worlds. The matriarch observed without comment until they reached a private chamber. You have changed, child, she said finally once they were alone. Her voice held no accusation, merely observation, as have you, Mother Lyra noted. The subtle signs nearly invisible to others, the slight softening around her eyes, the way she looked directly at her daughter against protocol. The elders sent scouts before me, Vin revealed. Without warning, they observed your colony, your interactions with humans, your behaviors. Lyra felt tension build within her. They witnessed my contamination, she said. Using the Zinthari term deliberately, Vin moved closer. Something unprecedented. I witnessed your freedom, daughter, she whispered. The words so quiet Lyra almost missed them. The matriarch reached into her robes, removing a small, crystal device. I risked everything to come here, she continued. Her voice remained steady, but urgency colored her words. The elders prepare not just invasion, but purification. Earth humans, defectors, all marked for elimination. The emotional contagion, considered too dangerous to the Zinthari way. Why tell me this? Lyra asked. Why risk yourself? The matriarch looked away briefly, a moment of uncharacteristic hesitation. I watched your broadcast. She admitted. I saw your face when you spoke of human emotions, of connection. Of the female human captain. Lyra felt heat rise to her face, another new sensation. I remembered, Vin continued. I remembered feeling before our species chose logic before the emotional purge. Generations ago. I remembered my own mother. Holding me, I remembered loving your father before genetic selection replaced choice. She held out the crystal. This contains tactical data, fleet positions, weapons capabilities, approach vectors, the full invasion plan. I give it to you, daughter, I choose. Your way. Lyra took the device carefully. Their fingers touched briefly. Mother and daughter connected by more than genetics for the first time in Lyra's memory. Something wet formed in her eyes. Another human response. Tears of emotion. You risk everything, she whispered. Some things matter more than survival. Vin said, echoing words Lyra herself had learned on Earth. Some connections transcend logic. The intelligence proved invaluable. Earth defenses prepared, targeting the specific vulnerabilities detailed in the matriarch's data. The Xanthari defectors worked alongside humans, developing countermeasures shielding systems that would protect the planet. The coming conflict would determine the fate of both species. Vin remained on Earth, her presence creating ripples through the defector community. An elder choosing emotion over duty challenged everything they believed. The small colony grew as more Xanthari responded to Lyra's broadcast, some traveling secretly across vast distances to join what became known as the Awakening. Stella and Lyra found themselves at the center of preparations. Their days filled with tactical meetings, resource coordination, diplomatic negotiations between human factions. Their nights increasingly spent together in quiet moments of connection. Neither spoke directly of feelings growing between them. Both understood duty came first while threat loomed. 2 months after the matriarch's arrival, sensors detected the Xanthari war fleet approaching a force 5 times larger than the previous incursion. Hundreds of ships carrying weapons capable of devastating Earth. The final strategy session brought all leaders together: human and Xanthari military commanders, political representatives, scientists and engineers all presented aspects of the defense plan. Lyra and Stella stood together, presenting the central strategy. "We cannot match their firepower," Stella explained. "But we don't need to. The matriarch's intelligence gives us their communication frequencies. Their command structure relies on perfect coordination." Lyra continued. "Our defector engineers have developed a transmission that will affect Xanthari neural patterns, not harmful, but disruptive. It will trigger emotional centers, long suppressed. Emotional contamination," Finn clarified from her position nearby. "We will use their fear against them. We will awaken what they have buried." "Will it work?" demanded General Erica Ward. "Earth's defense coordinator, for some," Lyra answered honestly. "Those already questioning the younger generation. Those with genetic memory of feeling others will resist. But the confusion should create tactical advantage." The room fell silent as implications became clear. "You would do this to your own people?" asked someone from the back. "They are all my people now," Lyra replied, meeting the questioner's eyes. "These humans, this world, and yes, the Xanthari too. I fight for all who seek freedom to feel, to choose their path." The night before the fleet would reach Earth, orbital range, Lyra found Stella on the observation deck. Their final preparations complete, nothing left but execution of their plan. Tomorrow would bring conflict with uncertain outcome. CAT meant user data, outputs, Alien, Princess Part 4. MD. EOF, the Xanthari war fleet appeared in Earth's sky like new constellations visible even in daylight. Hundreds of ships arranged in perfect geometric patterns, a demonstration of order and control that defined their civilization. Humans across the planet looked up in fear, many evacuating to underground shelters, others gathering in places of worship or with loved ones. The end seemed inevitable. Despite all preparations, in the combined command center, Lyra, Stella, and the United Earth Defense Forces monitored the approaching armada. The matriarch Vin stood nearby, her presence still unsettling to many humans unaccustomed to the tall, elegant alien whose face revealed nothing of her thoughts. "They have entered broadcast range." General Ward announced, all systems ready. Lyra looked at the tactical display. The pattern of Xanthari ships had not changed since her mother's intelligence. Even facing potential resistance, they followed protocol precisely predictable in their perfect logic. This was both weakness and strength. "On my mark," Lyra said, her voice steady, though her heart raced with very human anxiety. 3, 2, 1. Initiate transmission, around the world specialized broadcast. Stations activated simultaneously, sending the carefully designed signal toward the Xanthari fleet. The transmission contained no weapons, no attack code. Instead, it carried emotions. Human feelings translated into neural patterns that would resonate with suppressed Xanthari brain structures, music, art, poetry, love, fear, hope, all compressed into signal form. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. The fleet continued its advance toward Earth. The command center fell silent as monitors showed. "No change, it's not working," Someone muttered. "Wait," Lyra said, her eyes fixed on the display. "Something." The perfect formation wavered, almost imperceptibly at first, then more noticeably. Several ships drifted from position. Others adjusted erratically. Transmission. Frequencies from the fleet changed from ordered patterns to chaotic bursts. "It's working," Stella breathed, watching as confusion spread through the alien armada. "Not all of them," Vin cautioned. "Some resist. The elder ships particularly." She was right. While younger crew vessels showed signs of disruption, the central command ships maintained formation, continuing their approach. Weapon systems began activating on these ships. Energy readings spiked as they prepared first strike phase 2. Lyra ordered, "Earth." Defense forces launched their countermeasures. Direct weapons would have little effect against Synthari shields. But the matriarch's intelligence revealed a vulnerability. The fleet required precise coordination. The command ships controlled the others, through specialized frequencies. Targeted electromagnetic pulses shot from Earth stations precisely calibrated to disrupt these command frequencies without harming the ships themselves. The strategy would not destroy the fleet, but might prevent coordinated attack. The first Synthari weapon fired a beam of concentrated energy, striking a defense station in the northern hemisphere. The installation vaporized instantly, a demonstration of overwhelming force. "They target military only," Vin noted. "They still hope to preserve Earth resources." More weapons prepared to fire. The situation looked grim despite their countermeasures. The sheer number of ships meant some would break through, would devastate Earth defenses. Then something unexpected happened. A Synthari vessel from the outer formation suddenly changed course, positioning itself between Earth and a command ship preparing to fire. The smaller ship transmitted openly on all frequencies, "Cease attack. We are Synthari. We choose feeling. We choose freedom." The command ship fired anyway, destroying the intercepting vessel instantly, the sacrifice witnessed by all monitoring the battle. The destruction of their own kind to maintain control revealed the Elder's true nature. The Synthari valued order above all, even their own people's lives. This act triggered response throughout the fleet. More ships broke formation. Some placed themselves protectively near Earth. Others simply retreated from conflict. Civil war erupted among the Synthari forces as those awakened to emotion fought those clinging to logical control. Lyra watched in horror as her people turned weapons against each other. This was not the outcome she had intended. Not victory through division, but unity through understanding. Her broadcast had succeeded too well, triggering not just emotion but chaos. "We must stop this," she said. "They destroy themselves. What can we do?" Stella asked. "The signal worked too well. We can't undo it." Lyra turned to her mother. The matriarch stood straight and tall, watching the destruction, her perfect composure finally broken. Eyes that had not shed tears in centuries now glistened with moisture. The matriarch's voice. Vin said suddenly, "They will listen to the matriarch's voice. I must address them again." Lyra realized, not just with emotional signal but with words. With truth, I must offer another way. The technical team worked frantically to establish direct communication link to all Synthari vessels. Lyra prepared herself, finding calm center amidst turmoil. When the connection opened, she stood tall, facing the camera that would transmit her image throughout the fleet. "I am Lyra, High Princess of the Synthari," she began. "My voice reaches all who fight above this world. Listen to me, my people." She paused, gathering herself, remembering everything Earth had taught her about feeling, about connection, about purpose. "We believed emotions made us weak." She continued, "We chose logic, order, control above all else. We suppressed feeling to create perfect society. But we were wrong. Emotions give meaning, purpose, connection. They answer why, not just how." Images appeared on screens beside her. Earth scenes, carefully selected. Music, art, family, children laughing. Couples embracing, hands joined. Across differences, birth, death, celebration, mourning. The full spectrum of human experience. "These are not weaknesses," Lyra continued. "These are strengths. These connections give reason to exist, reason to protect. reason to grow. We Zinthari forgot the question our logic served. We maintained order but lost why order mattered. The matriarch stepped into view beside her daughter. A gasp echoed through the command center. No one had expected this, least of all. Lyra, I am Vin, matriarch of the elder lineage. Vin spoke, her voice strong and clear. I who helped create the emotional suppression protocols, I who enforced logic above all else. I tell you now, we were wrong. Mother and daughter stood together, representing past and future of their species united, in new understanding. We offer another path, Lyra said. Not Zinthari control, not human chaos, but balance, logic and emotion, order and freedom. The strengths of both our peoples. A new transmission appeared on their screens. An elder from the command ship, his face rigid with controlled anger. Traitors, he spat. This emotional contamination spreads through deception. The weak-minded may fall, but the true Zinthari remains strong. We will cleanse this planet and all contaminated vessels. Your rebellion ends. Now the central command ship powered weapons targeting Earth directly. The display showed energy building preparing catastrophic strike. What happened next occurred so quickly few could follow. The matriarch's vessel, previously dormant near the colony, suddenly activated, shooting upward at impossible speed. Vin had maintained contact with her ship, had programmed final protocol. Command override codes known only to elder matriarchs allowed her vessel to approach without being fired upon. It positioned itself directly against the command ship's weapon array. For my daughter, the matriarch whispered. For feeling, for choice. The smaller vessel self-destructed against the command ship. Critical systems. The resulting explosion disabled the weapon. Prevented the attack. The command ship itself remained intact, but crippled, unable to coordinate. The fleet fighting continued among the Zinthari vessels. Those awakened to emotion defending Earth, those resisting attacking both the planet and their own kind. But the balance had shifted. The command structure broken. More ships defected each moment. Earth defense forces joined the battle, supporting friendly vessels, providing sanctuary for damaged ships. The conflict raged for hours, neither side gaining decisive advantage until suddenly, the remaining loyal Zinthari ships activated jump engines, disappearing into space, retreating to regroup, report to the Empire. When the sky finally cleared, Earth had survived. The cost was enormous. Defensive installations, destroyed cities damaged, but compared to expected devastation, the outcome seemed miraculous. The Zinthari civil war had prevented united attack against the planet in the aftermath. Lyra mourned her mother. The matriarch's sacrifice saved millions, perhaps billions of lives, the ultimate demonstration that emotion, connection, love could provide purpose stronger than logic alone. Vin, who had lived centuries without feeling, had in her final moments chosen love for her daughter above all else. The defector colony expanded as damaged ships landed requesting sanctuary. More Zinthari choosing feeling over control. Earth governments cautiously welcomed these refugees while maintaining vigilance. The threat had not ended, merely transformed. The loyal Zinthari would return eventually. Prepared for emotional contamination, immune to the signal that had disrupted this fleet, Stella found Lyra at the memorial garden planted for those lost in battle. The princess stood before the monument to her mother, a simple crystal that caught sunlight, refracting it into rainbow patterns, symbolic of emotions newly discovered. She saved us all, Stella said gently, taking Lyra's hand. She found herself. Lyra replied. At the end, she remembered what it meant. To feel, to love, to choose connection over duty. It gave her purpose. Stella moved closer. This isn't over, is it? Cat EMENT user data, outputs Alien Princess Part 5. MD. EOF 5 years passed since the first Zinthari invasion attempt. Earth and the growing colony of emotional Zinthari built new society together. Integration happened slowly with challenges and setbacks. Human fears, alien differences, centuries of Zinthari conditioning all created obstacles. But necessity drove cooperation. Forward defense outposts monitored space for Empire return. Shared technology improved both species' lives. Cultural exchange enriched both worlds. Lyra served as primary ambassador between peoples. Her unique position, understanding both Xanthari logic and human emotion, made her irreplaceable bridge builder. She traveled constantly between human governments and growing Xanthari settlements, mediating disputes, explaining cultural differences, preventing misunderstandings. Her work exhausted her, but purpose drove her forward. Stella now commanded Earth Defense Force Alpha Division, responsible for coordinating human military with Xanthari allies. Her relationship with Lyra remained mostly private, professional boundaries maintained in public settings. Their duties often separated them for weeks or months, creating strain both acknowledged but accepted. As necessary, the fate of worlds outweighed personal desires. The colony expanded as more Xanthari arrived. Small ships carrying those inspired by Lyra's broadcast those secretly harboring emotional tendencies, those simply curious about different way. Many struggled with emerging feelings after lifetimes of suppression. Some returned to Empire unable to adapt, but most stayed building new lives, learning to balance logic with emotion in ways neither species had achieved. Alone, research teams combined Xanthari scientific precision with human intuitive leaps, creating technological advances, benefiting both peoples. Medical breakthroughs, extended human lifespan, improved quality of life. Xanthari engineering enhanced Earth infrastructure, transportation, communication, energy production, all transformed through collaboration. Not all accepted change. Resistance groups formed on both sides. Humans fearing alien influence. Xanthari rejecting emotional awakening. Political tensions flared. Resource disputes arose. Security forces dealt with occasional violence from extremist factions. The path forward remained difficult, uncertain. Yet progress continued step by step. Day by day. Lyra and Stella found rare, quiet evening together at Mountain Retreat. A small cabin overlooking valley where human and Xanthari architecture blended in harmony. Below, lights from settlement glowed against approaching night. The princess stood on balcony, silver hair loose around her shoulders. Earth sunset. Painting her alien features with golden light, Stella joined her, wrapping arms around tall figure from behind. 5 years, she murmured. Sometimes it feels like yesterday we first met. Sometimes it feels like lifetime. Lyra covered human hands with her own. The simple touch still created pleasant sensation. After all this time, I received communication from deep space monitoring. Today, she said, Imperial frequencies detected. Their scout ships approach outer system, so they come at last. Stella said, unsurprised, they had always known this day would arrive. The Empire would not abandon Earth or tolerate emotional defection forever. The only questions were when and how strong the response. Different approach this time, Lyra noted. Not immediate attack. Not overwhelming force. Small groups testing defenses, studying changes, perhaps seeking weaknesses in our alliance, smarter than before. Stella agreed. They learn from failure. Lyra turned in her arms, meeting blue eyes that still reminded her of Earth. Oceans, are we ready? She asked the question that haunted both their thoughts. As ready as possible. Stella said honestly, the defense grid extends throughout the system. Early warning beacons monitor approach vectors. The fleet combines best of both technologies. But the Empire has had years to prepare as well, to develop countermeasures, to build greater forces. Lyra nodded, understanding the unspoken concern. The coming conflict would test everything they had built. Would their alliance hold under pressure? Would emotional Xanthari fight against their former people? Would humans trust alien allies when their world faced destruction? We should return to command center, Lyra said, duty calling her as always. Stella tightened her embrace. Not tonight, she countered. We have monitored these approaching ships for weeks. One more night changes nothing. Let others handle immediate response. The commanders know protocols. Lyra hesitated, torn between responsibility and desire. The Xanthari part of her demanded immediate action, logical response to threat. The emotional part, nurtured through years on Earth, recognized need for connection, for balance. You push yourself too hard, Stella said softly. When did you last rest, truly rest? The princess had no answer. Time blurred between diplomatic missions, security briefings, integration programs, scientific oversight. Her life served greater purpose, but personal needs often suffered. Just tonight, Stella whispered. Just us before duty calls again. Before, worlds need saving. Something released in Lyra tension she carried constantly. Permission to simply exist in moment, to feel without analysis, to connect without purpose. She turned fully into Stella's, embraced silver forehead, touching human one in gesture. That had become their private ritual. We have built remarkable things together, Lyra said, thinking of all accomplished in 5 short years. 2 species' former enemies now creating shared future technology cities. Art, music, philosophy, all blending. Best aspects of both worlds. New generation of children growing up without division. Humans learning Xanthari precision control. Focused Xanthari discovering emotion, creativity, intuition. Most remarkable of all, Stella said, is us. She traced fingers along, silver cheek. The impossible connection. A princess from stars and captain from Earth. Finding each other across light years, across species, across entirely different evolutionary paths. Their lips met familiar, yet always new. Silver skin against golden. Different temperatures, different textures, yet perfectly matched. Love transcending difference. Connection bridging worlds. Later they lay together watching stars through cabin skylight. Each point of light potentially harboring life worlds unknown, species undiscovered. The universe vast beyond comprehension. Yet in this small space on this small planet, 2 beings from different stars had found each other. Do you ever regret? Stella asked, voice, quiet in darkness. Choosing Earth. Choosing emotion. Choosing me, Lyra considered question with characteristic thoroughness. The Xanthari part of her valued honesty. Precise communication. The emotional part understood deeper meaning behind words. I chose freedom. She answered finally. Not just Earth. Not just emotion, though. These matter greatly. I chose possibility of choice itself. The Empire offered single path, perfect order, without deviation, without growth. My mother helped me see this when she sacrificed herself. She, who helped create emotional suppression protocols, recognized finally what was lost, and me. Stella persisted, the human need for reassurance showing through professional strength. Lyra smiled in darkness. You were catalyst, first human. I truly saw. First connection that made, I question. First feeling I could not suppress, you opened a door. I walked through myself. Stella curled closer against silver skin, warm against cool. Their physiological differences complementary, like their species themselves. Different yet fitting, together creating balance neither could achieve alone. The communication device blinked insistently, finally demanding attention. 5 messages from command center. Stella sighed, duty returning too soon. She reached activating screen. Imperial Scout. Ship requesting direct communication. Commander Adams Lyra's presence requested urgently. Security protocols activated. They dressed quickly, professional personas returning. Vacation retreat transformed to forward command. Post secure communications. Establish the requested transmission. Connected displaying Xanthari Elder. His face typical emotionless mask. Princess Lyra. Elder. Myron greeted formally. I speak for Imperial Council. Lyra returned formal greeting without emotional display. Her years of diplomatic service allowing her to present appropriate Xanthari demeanor when needed. Commander Adams represents Earth Alliance, she added. The Elder acknowledged Stella with minimal gesture. Your defection remains matter of significant concern. Princess, your emotional contamination spreads, disrupting Imperial order. The broadcast signal you transmitted continues to affect our people. 5 years seems long time to formulate response. Lyra noted. The Elder would recognize subtle criticism. In her words, the Council required thorough analysis. Elder Myron replied, we studied emotional contamination. Its effects, its spread, its potential threat to Xanthari civilization. We examined options, and your conclusion, Lyra prompted, the Imperial Council offers terms. The elders stated we recognize separation as permanent. We acknowledge territory, rights of Earth system, and established colonies. We propose boundary agreement, preventing further contact between Empire and contaminated regions. Lyra, controlled, her surprise maintaining neutral expression. The offer suggested significant departure from expected conflict. Why such reasonable terms after years of implied threat? Stella asked question directly suspicious of unexpected concession. What changed? Your previous position indicated reconquest, elimination of emotional elements. The elder shifted slightly unusual display of discomfort for Zinthari. We discovered unforeseen consequence of emotional suppression. Our population declines, reproduction, rates fall, critical positions remain unfilled. Young Zinthari increasingly reject emotional protocols despite conditioning. Some deliberately seek contamination.